Hello, my friends. It's so good to be here with you on day 16. I see that some of you are already posting about the prompt, which is amazing. Get in there and do it if you haven't. It's a new week, so we're doing new prizes. Come on, get in there. So today we're talking about being selfish and what feels selfish to us. And I love the comments because they're amazing, and because I think it's a real indication of what a lot of us feel is selfish, and that's taking care of ourselves, right? And let me preface this by saying, yes, some of you have responsibility to take care of children or parents or other folks. Like, yeah, there's real responsibility there, and you've taken that on, and it's amazing, and you will do it. But are you selfish to take care of yourself also? What is selfish? And is it really a bad thing to be a little bit selfish? So I want you to think about that. Really dig in to what you're feeling is selfish, and to ask yourself, like, if somebody else wanted this, would I consider them selfish? Because a lot of the times, no. I mean, you're talking about rest. You're talking about taking time to take care of yourself, to have some really good feeling movement. Maybe it's taking time to shower. I mean, come on, people, let's get past the point where everyone recommends showering as self-care for women, right? Like, that's just a basic human need. Let's take care of it. So it's okay that you're feeling this way, right? Because we've been trained, particularly as women, to be the caretaker and to be the people who put ourselves last. And I want you to really think about that. What would you say to a girlfriend who was feeling the same way? Who was like, I just really need to rest, or I haven't had any fun. I need to do something fun. And it doesn't have to be at the expense of others. You know, I know someone mentioned when my kids want blah, 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 right? And so you're not putting aside your, toddler or your nursing baby who needs food in order to go do something fun. Nobody here is being neglectful or negligent in what their responsibilities are. That's not the problem. So let's all just say, yes, we're good people, we're good parents, we're good caretakers, we're good whatever it is that our role is, we're good at that. We're doing those things well. You are doing those things well. And you are a human. You are a person who gets to live a full life. So take a look at what feels selfish, and if it's basic, taking care of yourself, like rest. Rest is a big thing. I know a lot of us here have chronic illnesses or autoimmune disorders. Like, rest is actually necessary for everyone, but especially if you're going through a hard time or if your body is functioning in a different way than, your typical body might, take that extra rest. You're not going to be good to anyone if you don't get that rest. So if you can't just do it for yourself right now, think, okay, what is this going to power me up to be able to do later? And so if it's basic self-care, just do it. Figure it out. Let's take care of it. Tell yourself, when you have those thoughts about, oh, I'm being selfish, if we're just going to use rest as an example. If you're telling yourself, I feel selfish for resting, I feel selfish for needing to take a nap, I feel selfish for needing a break from sound, from stimulation, that can get really overwhelming. Whatever it is that you need and you feel selfish for it, turn that around. Why is it not selfish? Why is it actually the best thing you can do, not just for yourself, but for other people? Think about that. In order to be the best person, the best human citizen you can be, you're going to have to take care of yourself. So if some of the things that are coming up are really basic self-care needs, I want you to really dig into that And ask yourself why. Why am I feeling selfish? Is it because someone has said something like that? Is it because I have taken on so many responsibilities that I'm not delegating? That's a big one for me. I'm a bit of a control freak. And a friend of mine did a to-do list class yesterday about like getting your to-do list under control and not feeling so overwhelmed. And I really started thinking about, oh my gosh, I am such a control freak and I hold on to things so tightly that that's part of the reason why it feels like I don't have time to take care of myself or to do something fun. It's because I'm not allowing others to help me. I'm not allowing others to be a part of, whatever task or project is happening. So think about that. Just really get clear and ask yourself, why am I feeling like this is selfish? And then ask, how could this actually not be selfish? How could this be something that is good for everyone around me? And I want you to think about how we define selfish. Like, I actually kind of like the word. I want you to be more selfish. I want you to be more focused on yourself and your needs. And that's what this whole challenge is about. Loving yourself could be seen as selfish. Taking this time for yourself could be seen as selfish. But then what's the fucking point? Like, if we don't do anything that's focused on ourselves, what is the point? Like, you have to allow yourself to be a whole person and to show up in the world as a whole person. And sometimes that feels selfish because we're taught to be quiet, we're taught to be good girls, we're taught to be the caretaker. And we can do all those things. I mean, we don't need to be the good girl. You can be whatever kind of girl you want and whatever kind of woman you want. But think about what you've been taught. Think about the messages that you've received and why is it that you're feeling selfish? And you can go down a really basic, kind of like a pros and cons list, but like, what would be the consequences if your kid didn't get a ride where they wanted to go? Or if you took some time away from your partner? Or if you did something fun instead of doing another task on your to-do list? What are the consequences? What is the worst case scenario? We call that catastrophizing. And so we do that a lot in our minds where we immediately go to worst case scenario. We're like, okay, what's the worst that could, if I do this thing, then the whole world's gonna fall apart. Or, whatever it is in your mind. There's usually like a whole path of, well, if I don't do this, then this doesn't happen, then this doesn't happen, and then, the whole thing is fucked. So think about that. Go down that path consciously and say, what's the worst that could happen? And I think you'll start to see that these messages we're telling ourselves are really kind of ridiculous. You're going to start to have a shift in the way you look at taking care of yourself. And as you learn to love yourself more, as the self-love and self-care becomes more of a habitual practice, this is going to be easier because you're going to be so in tune with yourself and what you need that being selfish will feel like a good thing because you'll realize, oh, this is actually what I deserve as a human being. So I want you to think about those things. This is really big. I'm going to respond to people personally in the comments because these can be really hard to work through. But today and, tomorrow's a big one for this. Like, there are going to be some things coming up that are really going to start to shift things if you put in some time, some journaling work, some thought work. We're going to get you through it, and it's going to make such a big difference. I cannot wait. So, as always, please DM me, tag me in the comments, shoot me an email. You have access to me right now. I'm here for you. Please let me know. This is what I absolutely love to do. I'm a self-love coach. Like, this is my favorite thing. So please don't hesitate to reach out, put those posts up, play with the challenge, go back to old things if you missed them or you're feeling a little bit differently now. Play with it, make it yours. It's gonna be so good. So I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with. like I said, please reach out if you need anything or if you want anything to be different about the challenge. If there's something I haven't talked about that you're like, oh, I really am struggling with this, or I'm really interested to hear what you have to say, please let me know. All right, folks, I'm gonna go eat lunch because that's the way I'm being selfish right now. I'm gonna leave you to your work and I will be back later. All right, bye friends.